I struggle really to understand how a government can press ahead with a motor policy that not only recognises the environmental emergency, but also alienates the motor industry. So Rishi Sunak's plan is to alienate the people. Well, the environmental project is to abandon or dilute the environmental project and alienate the motor industry. I'm not going mad, am I? That's objectively incredible. The sheer idiocy of a policy regarding motor cars that alienates both the motor industry and the environmental lobby. I want a better word than lobby, but lobby's the best that I can come up with. Is, I think, perhaps one of the stupidest political interventions I've ever seen. Quick visit to Idiot's Corner. Paul says, so you completely bypass the fact that by that time people will still not be able to afford electric cars. You won't have to buy an electric car. They just won't make any more petrol and diesel cars, mate. It's a bit like all the people who thought that ULEZ meant they weren't allowed to drive their car around anymore. They'd have to go out and buy a Sinclair C5. It's just not true. This is what I mean by misinformation, Paul. So I was throwing you a little bone earlier when I said you're either stupid or deeply misinformed. I can't quite get my head around what bad politics this is. And if I were to seek to, what would the word be, pique your interest in this, I would suggest to you with a straight face that from where I'm sitting, what Rishi Sunak is doing looks a lot like framing a vaccine policy in order to appease anti-vaxxers. I mean, it's not even good news for the motor industry, but I presume it will be welcomed by the fossil fuels lobby. So I'd go a little further. What Rishi Sunak appears to be doing with net zero is framing a policy that in the context of vaccines would be designed not only to delight anti-vaxxers, but also to suck up to the companies that have a monopoly on flogging fake cures. So it's as if he's looked at the science and then he's looked at some idiots on Facebook and he's thought, I'm going with the idiots on Facebook on this one. I'm going with the imbeciles. And there's not just science, but also the motor industry on the other side of the river going, this is a really bad idea. You're essentially now appeasing people who think that anybody who's in favour of net zero hates cars. And that now includes Ford Motors.